What's up, everybody? Staying here from Rocky Creek. Glad to have you with us today. Today, we're gonna get dirty down in the garden. Let's go. All right, guys, so I told you on recent videos that we're gonna really get digging down in the garden. Since things are starting to finally make a turn for the better, we're gonna really get hands-on and get cranking on this garden and try to really get to where we need to be. So the first thing I need to do is I need to get these seed starts down to the garden so we can start plugging these things in. These cucumbers have gotten way too big for their pots now. We need to get them out of here. And we're also gonna go ahead and get the rest of these tomato plants plugged in down there as well. So let's get them carried down there and let's get to rolling. All right, guys, so I got the plants down there. So we're gonna walk on down here now, get ready to get a lot of this stuff put in. We also need to run the trellises of what panels I have left. I did get more T-posts, but I haven't got more cattle panels yet. But I still got a few sections from breaking down that DIY trailer. So we'll utilize those real quick. What's up, chickens? Q-tip. What are you doing, Q? You on high alert? Piggies. Piggies. What y'all doing? Hey, you got your new pool? You gonna swim in your pool, Henry? What do you think of that new pool? You got a hairball? So I'd said in previous videos that a buddy of mine from work was gonna hook me up with the old sandbox. That's what that turtle pool is. It used to be a sandbox, and a lot of forums and stuff that I would read and watch, they would talk about how those make really good pools for pigs. So I got that one in the piglets area. Of course, we got the $10 Tractor Supply one up at Mater's Pen. But that one right there, it's a little more shallow, so I think it's gonna work out really well for the piglets. I put it in yesterday, and both of them got in it pretty quick, so I think that's gonna work out really good. So we're down here at the garden now. Let's get in here and we'll talk about what we're gonna get done today. All right, guys, so here I got 6 of the Market More cucumber plants and 6 of the Chicago pickling plants. But I have a problem. So here's the problem that I never thought about when I started doing this garden. I made sure I labeled my seedlings, and so I knew what was what. Well, not anticipating that some stuff was gonna die before it matured, I can't remember which row of my cucumbers was the Market Moors and which were the Chicago pickling. So I'm gonna guess at it, but we might end up with a big mixture of it. Hopefully it won't matter. I'm thinking this row that most died is the pickling. And I'm thinking this row is the Market Moor. At least that's what I'm telling myself. And that's what we're gonna go with. So next time I do a garden, I probably need to label my actual garden too, or at least write it down on a notepad, like a little kind of overview blueprint of my garden, so I can rely on that. So definitely, first year doing this in-ground garden, that is a lesson that I just learned right there. Don't make my mistake. But anyways, let's get these plugged in and we're gonna go from there. We're really dried out. We're not near, this was like a muddy mess before, where now you can see this dirt is good and dry. It's crumbly, so it's nice and soft. So hopefully we are definitely out of this super wet ground that we had, and we're now heading into good, soft, dry soil that we just need to water to maintain moving forward. So we got the holes done all the way through here for the cucumbers that I think are the Chicago picklings. So we're gonna go ahead and start plugging those guys in now, and then we'll move on to the next ones. Six of these, And I got lucky with that first row of cucumbers because I had exactly 6 pre-existing holes that didn't, where stuff had died. This other row, I actually have 5 pre-existing holes that are spaced the way that they had recommended. So I'm gonna need one more. So I think what I'm gonna do is this portion of the trellis, there's no holes at all. So I think I'm just gonna do a hole right in here and we'll just plant a whole new one right there. Might as well, because I'm not gonna put anything else in this space. So I think that'll work out fine. Now for those of y'all that have just now joined our channel, some people wonder how to effectively cut this stuff, and we use a butane torch. That way it doesn't fray and it cuts it pretty easy. So like I want to put one right here about where that leaf was so it can run up on this trellis. You can just see how easy it burns it, melts it away. Let that cool off for a second, pull it off. We're going to dig out this dirt and throw the cucumber plant right in that hole. Always makes me feel good when I'm working in the garden. I find a bunch of these as I'm digging. So when I was talking about the seed starts the other day, you might have been wondering, why does he only have one green bean started amongst all those cucumbers? Well, the reason was the way that these have gone, I have them popping up everywhere except for I had one seed when we replugged. So this one right there is a replug, and this one and that one were replugs from the flood. Well, I had noticed early on that only this one right here didn't germinate straight up directly in the soil. So I did go ahead and do one soil block where this one's done. And I'm not sure what quite happened here, but it got a little something, but it's got some new growth on it. So I feel comfortable. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that one plugged in. So that's why I only had one green bean plant started when it was all said and done. I actually just realized that there was a second one popping up underneath it. I'm too worried that if I try to separate it, I'm gonna ruin the root structure. So I think I'm gonna plug it in the way it is, and then if somehow this bigger plant dies off here in the next couple days, I'll go ahead and leave that smaller one and pull the bigger one. So I'm gonna give it about 2 or 3 days before I pull that, and we'll see where we go from there. A good problem, but yet it's a bad problem in terms of the tomatoes. So I had plugged in, I think it was 7 of the red tomatoes that were growing the slicing style, and I think about 10 of the yellows, because I really truly thought we were gonna lose all of our tomatoes and we were gonna be starting fresh. So for these tomato plants now, for every one of them to end up surviving was a complete shock to me. So now it's like, what do? I got all these that seem to be doing well, but as of right now, just the red slicing tomatoes alone, which is this back row, I have 7 more plants that I could plug in. And so my thought is that I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna feed straight off of here, and I'm just gonna continue the row. And at the end of the day, I guess I'm gonna possibly have an entire row of, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. That's almost 20 red slicing tomato plants if it goes well. The golden ones really haven't done too well in the seed trays this round, so there's a chance I may not end up with any of those, and I can just do the other half of that row for my paste tomato. So, but I need to go ahead and do 7 new holes now for these 7 other tomato plants and get those plugged in. So I've been digging this tomato hole. I got halfway down, and there's a reason why this place is called Rocky Creek, and the reason why I'm pretty limited on where I can put a garden in, and the amount of work to get soil prepared on this piece of property. I'm about to show you, I've been working for about 15 minutes on trying to get this out. Pretty sure I'm not gonna get a tomato plant to grow in that, but it was laying perfectly flat, just like that, halfway down. So yeah, it's not real easy planting anywhere on this piece of property, but we're gonna make it work. So I did decide, since I had basically what was going to end up being extra tomato plants, because I thought I was going to need them, but I actually don't think I will. I decided, you know, I've been watching a few other channels about planting and doing their gardens, and a lot of them say that they plant their tomato plants really deep. And they say they do that because the part of the stem that's left will actually branch off and create a better root system. Well, I didn't plant my initial ones very deep at all. So with these ones, I decided that I was going to go ahead and test it out. Now, I don't know if I did it too deep, because I pretty much did it right up to that first thing of leaves. So we'll give this a try. We'll do this as an experiment. We'll see if it works out. And if for some reason these seem like they do a lot better, then maybe moving forward, I'll be sure to plant them really deep like that again. So I decided we'll go ahead and make a little experiment, and hopefully we'll still have some success. So now I've gotten all the tomatoes in. I've gotten all the cucumbers. I got the green bean in. So now all we got to do now is we're going to work on popping in what little bit of trellis system we have left to get done until we can get some more cattle panels. All right, so I just got the trellis pieces in here, which is just the leftover pieces from our livestock trailer. I think the simplest thing, because I plan to be at the store here within the next day or two to get the rest of the cattle panels that I need, is I think I'm just going to go ahead and continue this one all the way to right there, which gets it just shy of 2 of the cucumber plants, which I'll come up with something for that last little bit when it's said and done. That'll just leave me needing to run a second continuous trellis along this front row of cucumbers right here, and then also 2 more on those back rows for the tomatoes. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to burn my holes in the fabric for the T-posts for these, get those pounded in, and get them zip tied up, and we'll at least have this row done until I get to the store to get the rest of the cattle panels. Tell you what, it'll give you a shoulder pump like you ain't ever had. All right, guys, so you can see we got that trellis system done for that row of cucumbers. We got all these tomato plants replugged in. You can see some of the beans and all these little cucumber plants here and there we got plugged in as well. You can see stuff starting to fill in pretty good. Like I said, we'll run another trellis system right here for this row of tomatoes, which starting here, moving this way, we're gonna do a paste tomato to go with it. We'll run another trellis system here for these tomatoes. And then of course the other row of cucumbers and then the green beans, we're gonna do a hoop style trellis. And that should be the only things that I can think of that we're gonna need a trellis system for right now. This row right here, that's a row of peppers that we've gotten started. Now let me take you into a part of the garden. I didn't get to go over everything we recapped the other day, and I'm gonna show you just a couple quick things that we got going on before we exit from the garden. Now here's the other thing I didn't show you. All of our melon plants had died, and we direct seeded into the existing holes from last time. And as you can see, every one that we did ended up popping up here recently, and have even started to get their actual leaves now, and not just what they get from when they're seedlings. 4 of them are strawberry watermelon, and then the other 4 is basically, the best we could read about it is it's like a hybrid between a honeydew and a cantaloupe. And as we've said in prior videos, that is like by far my daughter's favorite, especially honeydew. So that's why we did that. Now, if you notice in this area too, we got this big empty void over here. Well, that's for a reason as well, is because we actually found another type of melon that is similar to a cantaloupe, but it's really small. It almost like fits in the size of your hand, and you cut it in half. And I think we're gonna give it a try. It's kind of a newer variety to Baker Creek, and we'll talk about those seeds in the future. But that's what we're gonna try to do with this space right here. So I got the new plants in, got those getting a good watering in to get them really good and set. So while I'm waiting on those things to get watered in before I head inside and get my shower for the day and spend some time with the wife, daughter, and the new little man, I'm gonna go up here and give my man Mater some love. He's the most docile boy you'll ever see. What, tell him what you, oh, look at him teeth. You want some love? Goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh goodness. Oh goodness. What are you doing? Oh. Is that the spot? Is that the spot? Telling you guys, you don't get any better pig than this man right here. So guys, that's gonna take us to the end of today. Hey, I'm trying to close out the video, man. I'll pet you in a minute. So guys, that's gonna take us to the end of today. Glad you could hang out with me in the garden a little bit. Things are starting to look better in there. Fingers crossed we get these seed starts going good. We'll have that whole thing filled up and the rest of the trellises in. And then it's just a matter of waiting for everything to grow and eat it up. So for me and Mater, we're gonna call it a day. But we're gonna check out before he eats up my shoot. But guys, appreciate you being here with us today. Appreciate you hanging out with us every day. And as always, we'll see you soon on the next episode. Y'all be good.